Now that you completed the monitor, it's time to work on the other parts. So these green guides are a little hard to see. You can always do Command Y and work in that mode. But remember, you can change the guide's color. Just pull down the Illustrator, Preference, Guides, and Grid. And now I'm going to go back to red. And I can see those clear, and I can work from this. Now I'm going to start the drawing with the pen tool. Most of the drawing is completed. Let's do some of the finishes. I'm going to go and look at my handout again. I notice there is a black rectangular shape over to the right. There's where that shape is, right along here. I'm going to take my rectangular tool. So you can use your pen tool and knock this out with the pen tool. But because it's a rectangular shape, I like to use the rectangular tool, and I'm just going to drag. If I go back and look at it, it's telling me that it's black. I'm just going to go to Fill, go to Window, and pull down to Color. And then I want to go to black. And then I can get rid of this right now. And now I want to send that to back. So remember, you always have to select the piece and it's Shift Command bracket, and I sent it to back. Now I want to bring my monitor over. Before you bring your monitor over, just make sure it's grouped, because remember we grouped it in the first half. And I always check it by clicking and dragging it. And if I like it, do Command Z, that is grouped. I want you to pull a copy today, and I want you to get used to pulling a copy. It's putting your finger, using the selection tool. Keep your finger on the Option key, click and drag. And notice when I'm dragging, there are two arrows, a black arrow and a white arrow. That's telling me that it's making a copy. So I'm going to kind of line it up before I look at the handout to see where it's going to be. No problem, it's behind. I want to bring to front, Shift Command bracket. I want to go look at the handout. It's kind of lined up, and I'm looking at this space. I'll come back over. I'm almost there. I'm just going to come down a little. You can always just go back and forth and look at the handout just to make sure you're far enough. The monitor is done. Let's take care of the portrait. If your portrait is on the desktop, all you need to do is go up to File and Place. Here's the example portrait. Just pull down and click Place. It'll be in the cursor, and you can land it anywhere you want. I'm just going to land it over to the side. It's a large portrait, so your portrait could be any size, but make sure your portrait is bigger than the shape you want to put it in. Now I'm going to go to the Free Transform tool, and I'm going to drag it down. I have my finger on the Shift key to constrain it so that the photo's not distorted. So don't lose a distortion point. So make sure your finger's on the Shift key. Just make it a little bit bigger than the actual size. And I'm going to blow this up. And then I like to move it on top to see. Okay, I could be a little. So you can kind of see that. You can see through the guides and see it. I'm going to be a little smaller. So you want your picture to be bigger than my guide. And this is the guide. This will walk you through it also, how to make a clipping mask. So I'm about to show you how to make a clipping mask. After you have your photo the size you like, take a rectangle or use the rectangle tool to drag the shape, the exact shape you want. I like to fill it with any color. So actually right now I'm just going to fill it with black for a second. And then I like to check to make sure that shape is smaller than my picture. So you want to make sure the shape you're going to clip is smaller than your picture. All right, and there's the shape. I can put stroke on by clicking this box here, taking the white fill off, and now I want to bring my shape on top of the picture and place it wherever I want. Once you like it, You can use your selection tool to select it. You just drag over it to select it, and you go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Now it clipped out the picture the exact size you want. I'm carrying it and I'm placing my picture. Again, you can see that right here. Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Your picture's in the right spot and the right size. Now let's do that dashed line. This line has a dash and a gap, and it has a white arrow on the end of it. So this is how you do that. Take your pen tool, make the line first, and you can look on my guides. If you hold your finger on the shift, it'll constrain it and the line will be straight, and it ends about right here. I was a little lower, so I can deselect and use my white arrow, and I can move that up a little. So now I'm exactly on my guides. If you look at the handout says a stroke of 1.5 and a dash and gap of 3. So I'm going to click on my line. I'm going to get the stroke box. And here's where you select dash. See, it was already on 3, but let me show you in case yours had a different number. If you go a dash of 6, you can see now the dash is larger. Let me blow this up a little. The dash is the black part and the gap is the white part. Let me just show you again and go to a dash of 12. So now you have a larger dash. But my handout says, let's go over. My handout says a dash of 3 and a gap of 3. So I'm going to go over. And I'm just going to drag and put a 3 here. Hit the enter key. But it says the size, the weight of the stroke. Let me go back over. It says a stroke 1.5. So let me click on the stroke. Let me go to 0.5. Hit enter. And now it asks you to, and if you look right here, this will walk you after you put the stroke on. We just did that. We did the dash line. We got to add an arrowhead. It said add an arrowhead of number 7. So the arrowhead number 7, this will walk you to how to expand it, but let's do number 7 first. Select your line, pull down, and there are different arrows. Here's number 7. And then that's the arrowhead we want. But I want you to notice something. If you do Command Y, it's not really there. You have to expand it so it can be real. So go back to the handout, and that's what this part, the second part was. Make your arrowhead white. You have to go in the menu and pull down to Object and Expand, and you'll see what's going to happen. So let me go back over. I'm going to select the line. Remember, if I do Command Y, I don't see an arrowhead. But if I go to Object, Expand Appearance, now if I do Command Y, it's now a real arrow. Go back to Command Y. It says, go back over. You need to paint it white. When you paint it white, don't use your black arrow because that will select everything. It's selecting a line. If you select your group selection arrow or your white arrow, it will click only on that arrow head. Go to color. So I clicked on fill. I'm going to pull down the color. Here's my color box. I'm going to make it white. And I pretty much have everything done now. Check it. I'll be looking, and I'll show you in the area. I'll be looking for your phone number. And remember, you can use a fake number. You must blow this up. You must put the dash exactly half of this line. So make sure the dash is right here in this spot. Next, you got to add your information in the top corner, and you're going to type your information in times 10.10 means 10 size is 10 point and leading is 10 point. You go to your type tool and just click and start your name. I'll call it Mike Smith. I'm going to select that, and you can select that with the black arrow. Do Command T will get the character box for you, and you're going to need to make that times. You could type in times. You can use Times Roman. The size is 10 point. 10 point is right here. And the leading is the space between each line, is also 10 point. I always like to check the handout to make sure. Yes, 10 on 10. Click back with the type tool, hit the return key, and finish typing. After you place your name in this top corner, it's the course number, the section number, the date, the assignment number, and put this initials IPINST. So type it just like that. After you're done, just check everything. And if you need to hide the guides, just so that you can see, remember the guides aren't going to print, but sometimes the guides get in the way. Just go up to View, Guides, Hide, and that way you can see everything without those guides.